Hello everyone, my name is Brianna Santos and I'm going to be reviewing the book Goodnight Moon. Goodnight Moon is a super simple but really sweet bedtime story. The story is about a little bunny who's getting ready for bed, and as he settles in, he starts looking around his room and just settling on things that he wants to say goodnight to, from his mittens, his socks, to the moon, and even the quiet lady in the corner who whispers hush to him. He is just in bed trying to settle down, and it's really calm, repetitive, and just one of those books that makes it super enjoyable to read, especially at nighttime. So, in this book, it goes back and forth between visuals such as this one, which is black and white, and ones that are depicting his super colorful room. One of the most interesting things about this book is that they use the black and white photos to kind of keep readers engaged, and by enforcing like a bedtime setting throughout the book, going back and forth allows it to make a huge difference in the mood and tone of the reading. If you look closely in the dark and white pages also, it just kind of progresses to how the outside would look as things begin to become quieter and dimmer. It's just those small details that really set the mood for a reading like this one. The genre of this book falls into 3 different categories, those categories being children's literature, bedtime stories, and poetry. This falls into the children's literature category because it's designated for young readers, as it's talking, as you can see actually, the small text and the simple text, my apologies, and the familiar themes is perfect for children's literature. This falls into the bedtime stories category because it has a smoothing ride, and its repetitiveness and its phrases make it perfect for a nighttime reading. And the poetry category, it falls underneath it because it has a natural lyrical quality, and it uses rhymes and different depictions to create a more calming effect. One of my favorite lines from this book is near the end where it says, "Goodnight stars, goodnight air, goodnight noises everywhere." I really love this passage at the end of the book because it really captures kind of just the quiet, peaceful time before bed. The rhythm of the words really depicts perfectly the slow breathing of a child, and just as they drift to sleep, they slowly become tired and less vocal, so it really just brings a sense to the closure of the book. Like any other book, Goodnight Moon has strengths and weaknesses, so we can start off with the strengths. A couple strengths that I found in this book were that it's very simple and repetitive. With it being simple and repetitive, it allows readers, especially young readers, to learn new words and just catch on to things that they look and hear more frequently. It also has a very calming tone, with it being a Goodnight Moon book or a bedtime story. It is perfect for reading at bedtime or when you want to calm down your classroom. It's a perfect time for that. So just the calming tone is really important. And the illustrations are very engaging. So if you look at this book, there are many different scenes and just little things that children would love to point out, especially if you're reading towards a big book. You could always ask questions and point out what they see, which is really important and crucial to really engaging and understanding a book, which I found was really a really good strength of this book. A couple weaknesses that I found in this book were that it was very slow paced. So for those kids who are very energetic and love to see action and excitement, this book would probably be a little hard for them to sit through because of how slow paced and kind of gentle it is. Because there's not much of a plot in this book, older children might lose interest and not find it very engaging or interesting because there's not much to follow along with. If I were to incorporate this book into my classroom, I would rename the lesson Goodnight Classroom. I would begin the lesson by just reading this book out loud to my class and just letting them to discuss the different objects and things that they found in this book, and then just like the different things that Bunny was saying goodnight to. I would then have them stay on their carpet or stay in their seats as we discuss and look around the classroom and try to find things that we want to say goodnight to. From it being pencils or books or whiteboards, I would have them look around the classroom and kind of see what they would want to say goodnight to if they were to say goodnight. I would then let those kids get up and just walk around the classroom and draw everything that they would like to say goodnight to. They would be able to choose their objects and write a sentence kind of like the book. I would say goodnight books, goodnight pencils. That would correlate with the picture they drew. After they're done drawing all their pictures and writing their sentences, I would put the drawings together and create a little class book called Goodnight Classroom, and then at the end of the day we can read the book together and just kind of see the different items and objects that we would say goodnight to if we were the bunny in the book. Goodnight Moon is a very simple and timeless little story, and I think that's very fitting for if you have a chaotic classroom or just time to wind down. This book would be perfect to read in your classroom. Not only is it fun, but you can also create a fun activity that your class would enjoy, and I really did enjoy learning and reading this book.